What's up, everybody? It's your boy. It's Nick here. I had told you guys, I think it was in October when I first said that I was going to be doing a new podcast with my buddy Jaden, and we were going to call it Podgoblins. And this thing really started as like, oh, let's just do it for fun, and we'll talk about the Hobgoblins movies. And then I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that when we actually got to thinking about it because it's like Hobgoblin sucks, and I also don't want to be forced to watch the second one. And why do a limited run podcast with 2 episodes that nobody's going to watch because it's about Hobgoblins? So this is Podgoblins. I have not created an intro yet. You are getting the very first episode. This is us. This is, whatever you want to call it. It's impromptu. And without further ado, I'm going to bring Jaden in here so you guys can officially, unofficially meet Jaden. This is Jaden. Jaden is somebody that I send Instagram reels to often. He sends Instagram reels to me often. He found my channel through Unita a while ago, and a big supporter of the Unita horror podcast, and has been wanting to dabble into getting into the horror podcasting game. So here he is. Now, this could be history in the making, guys. It's going to be either way, one way or another. It's either going to be like the beginning of another like Unita project where it's going to go on for years and people are going to get to know both of us and love it, or it's going to completely crash and burn and everybody remember the awful attempt. So Jaden, what's up, man?
Yes, sir. What's up, Nick? How you doing?
Oh, I'm here. I'm alive. I just got done watching Joker Folie à Deux. Shout out, Jaden is also somebody that liked Joker Folie à Deux. So, yeah. Rewatched it on Max. I could do without the ads, man. I really could do without the ads. I need to get it on 4K. Pretty sure it's out. I'm pretty sure it's out. It may not be out yet. I don't know. But I need to get it. Yeah, still dig the shit out of that movie. Really don't care what anybody says. That movie rules. So, yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, we're not going to be talking about Joker today, but I think you and I had the same, like, kind of idea about it where we're like, it's not really a Joker movie. It's an Arthur Fleck movie. And that's great. And I think people got too caught up in the MCU, DCU superhero bullshit. And that's why people hate it. But
that they did. But we will cease the Joker talk so we don't lose any viewers, guys. That's my fault. All right. So today, Jaden and I were talking about how we would launch this venture. How are we going to do this? Like, anytime somebody wants to start a horror podcast or wants to start a channel or just any form of content creation, you always want to start doing something that you know is going to be popular because you want to get eyeballs on you. And Jaden knows that through his OnlyFans. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, like, hey, we both love Halloween. Like, why not be Halloween? And then he was like, yeah, sure. And then he was like, well, actually, what if we do something that's like, I don't know, I guess you could say prudent for the beginning of the year, which is looking forward to the horror movies that are going to come this year. And that's also something that people always like to talk about. We like to throw those things around and say, oh, I'm really stoked for this one. I really am not looking forward to this one. And I have no idea what this one is. And so on and so forth. So Jaden, I don't know about you, man, but what I was going to do actually was bring up the list of just movies coming out this year. And every single one that's horror, we'll give a quick blurb about it. And we'll talk about whether we're looking forward to it, if we have any idea what it is, all that. So how does that sound to you?
It sounds great, man. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Now, let me ask you something real quick because, how's it feel? How's it feel? You're getting your feet wet now. You got the headset on. You're in front of a webcam. You got a couple thousand people tuning into you. I know, crazy, right? Just massive, whatever.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
It's it's nerve-wracking, but I'm glad I got my light to guide me through. I feel confident in doing this with somebody who's been doing YouTube for like over a decade.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to this whole project, to be honest. I've been trying to get into content creation for a long time. And I love talking about horror movies more than anything. So, yeah.
Well, don't make me feel too old, okay? I didn't start taking YouTube seriously till like 3 years ago. Up to that point, it was like an upload a year. So, But yeah, no, that's one thing I realized too when I started with Christian Man was that I didn't have the personality entirely yet. I was kind of nervous, And now it's just like second nature, where like you've already gotten your boatloads of haters and your boatloads of people that like you, and you've been through the gauntlet and back. So it's just like nothing phases you anymore. And you'll get there too.
Yeah.
But just we've talked so much over the last couple of years that I know that like you're gonna fit in this space. So I'm excited to do this, man. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to get right into this. I mean, let's just pull up January.
Oh yeah.
And the first one we got to talk about, Jaden, is there any movie off the top of your head first this month that you're looking forward to?
There's one that I'm looking forward to that I'm pretty confident you're not going to give a fuck about. But do you have any opinion on Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare?
Dude, I read something today that like Tinkerbell is like addicted to heroin or something in it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I saw a photo of Captain Hook, and yeah, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. No.
There.
But I gotta ask, is that part of the Pooniverse?
It is. It is. Yeah.
Where do you stand on the Pooniverse so far? I'm sure you've seen both of those shitty ass movies.
I have. So I saw the first one with my friends and I fucking hated it. I thought it was terrible. I thought it's like so boring. I kind of like the doofy mask, but then I saw the second one and I'm like, okay, like this is like not amazing, but it's much better than the original. So if they keep improving, kind of like how Terrifier did to me, I feel like each movie kind of builds on the next and gets bigger and better. I hope they do that. And this one looks like the first like straight up horror film. Like it looks like it's going for scares and being kind of creepy and fucked up, whereas the other ones were a little bit like they're just goofy bad slashers. Also,
Okay, well, let me. I was going to ask you, is this going to be playing near you? Like, have you checked to see if it'll be at a theater by you?
Yeah, it is. So I go to college in Boston, and there's an AMC Boston Common that plays like any movie you can think of. So I'll probably see it there.
Okay. Did that AMC play Jeepers Creepers Reborn?
That I don't know. I didn't see that. I didn't want to.
Why not? You're over here talking about Blood and Honey and fucking Peter Pan, but Jeepers Creepers is that's a step too far.
I think I was less open to shitty movies back then.
Oh.
If it came out now, I'd go see it.
Okay.
Back then, I was like,
yeah, don't hate on JC Reborn, okay? That's basically like Jesus Christ because he was reborn too. No, the movie's dog shit. But Christian and I, we made the trek to the theater. Dude, that's it. That theater was sold out. That theater was sold out. Oh yeah, dude. It was wild. Probably one of the least involved I've ever heard an audience in a theater ever. Like I'm serious. Like nobody was. People giggled at stuff that they weren't supposed to giggle at. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at January for me, man, the only thing that I am looking forward to. Well, no, there's one we're going to talk about, but I want to talk about this one first. Wolfman. Yeah. Now, a lot of people might go, oh, I saw the Halloween Horror Nights, thing, and it looks like shit and blah, blah, blah. And then they had to release the transformation online because people thought it was going to look that bad, and it doesn't look that bad, but it doesn't look like a wolf and yada, yada, yada. Look, Lee Whannell has directed 2 films that I have seen. Those may be the only ones he's directed. Insidious Chapter 3, which I think is the weakest Insidious movie. Sorry, guys. I know there's some defenders out there. It's not bad, but I think it's the weakest. And then he's directed The Invisible Man, which I thought was probably up there for my favorite movies of 2020. I thought that movie ruled. Yeah. And so since he did so well with that, they were like, now you can do The Wolfman. Look, I've never been someone that's been like in love with the classic Universal monsters because I just don't watch a lot of black and white films. Never really have, aside from Frankenstein. I do love the OG Frankenstein, but this looks really. I think this looks good. And the early reviews came out yesterday. I think the social media embargo lifted last night. And I was seeing critics give some of their early reactions. And everybody was saying, no, it's not a Wolfman in the sense of like The Howling, where it turns into a full blown werewolf. But the way the movie plays it is more like an infection. And it works really well. A lot of people, I'm sure there were some bad reviews. Don't get me wrong, there always are, but everyone I came across was positive. So I'm really looking forward to that. Where are you at on the Wolfman?
Yeah, I kind of felt indifferent for the lead up. I think that as somebody goes to the theater a lot, seeing that trailer over and over again, it kind of had the speak no evil effect where I was like, dude, fuck this movie, like just let it come out already. But I saw some of the reviews you're talking about, and that kind of like made me a little bit more excited. Um, Also, the fact that it's not like a shot by shot remake of the original Universal Monster movie. Like it feels like very different just from the trailer alone. Like the story looks completely different. Um, One thing that did worry me at first too was like it was pushed back. Like it was supposed to come back or come out in 2024, and then it got pushed to January, which I know is a month where some studios like to dump movies that they don't really care about.
Night Swim.
Night Swim. And Blumhouse kind of had a really mediocre 2024, so that too, but I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I'm going to go see it. I'm still looking forward to it, but I'm a little bit cautious too.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'll be there next week. I'll definitely go next Thursday opening night, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, here's one that I didn't know shit about until I saw Lee McCoy, shout out Drum Dums, my boy Lee, posted on Twitter last night. Hey guys, don't watch this trailer for this movie because it gives away the whole like twist of the movie in the trailer. So I didn't watch the trailer, but I also never heard of the movie. And then when I was watching Joker today on Max, they showed a 15-second preview of this movie. And I saw Jack Quaid. And I was like, what? It's called Companion?
Yeah.
And I'm going to avoid the trailer because that's what Lee said to do. So I want to kind of go in cold with it. But do you know anything about this movie? And are you at all anticipating it?
Yeah. This is kind of another one that for the past couple of months has been like a trailer before a lot of horror films. I've noticed at AMC at least. The trailer, I didn't pay fully attention to it, but from the images I have seen, it looks interesting. It kind of gave me like a Strange Darling vibe almost.
Yeah.
Like not the exact plot, but like just similar to that.
Well,
And Jack Quaid's great.
Shout out my buddy Rudy for sending me Strange Darling for my birthday. He knows me well. That was a great recommendation. That movie ruled.
Yeah, that movie fucking rules. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to go in as blind as I can, like you are, because I've heard, and it might be a spoiler, so I won't say it to you, but I've heard another genre discussed with it along with horror, and that kind of has me intrigued because the trailer doesn't fit that at all. But
well, I can just say that without spoiling it, I'm not going to, but had I known the twist of Strange Darling going in, I would not have liked that movie as much. I mean, Rudy can attest. I was texting him in real time and I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like there was so much that I did not see coming. So yeah, I would have been really bummed had I known all of that going in. So yeah, I'm going to steer clear of that. Anything else you want to talk about in January or no?
I think that's it for January.
Okay. Well, February, there's a movie we finally got a trailer for the other day. Hard Eyes.
Yeah.
I'm a big Christopher Landon fan. I don't even hide it. I think the dude's great. I love both Happy Death Day movies. Yes, I put Happy Death Day in S tier, guys. And yes, I did get some shit for it on my tier list. But as I said, it benefited from only having 2 movies. If it had 7 movies in that series, I'm sure there'd be one that's just like, meh. But I love both those movies, so how could I not put it in S tier? I didn't make the list. Love Chris a lot. Was really excited when he was announced as director of Scream 7. Then everything that went on behind the scenes of that. And just, I understand why he stepped away. But I watched the trailer for this, man, and I got to tell you, I thought I was going to, just hearing the premise, I was like, I mean, Chris, we've seen you do this before. Isn't this like just another like spin on like Freaky or Happy Death Day? And it's like, yeah, it kind of is. It's a themed slasher movie that's probably going to play more toward the teen audiences, but there's two things about it that I'm looking forward to. One, Christopher Landon just does that really well. He's proven that he does that really well. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And two, I saw it was rated R. And I was like, okay, cool. We're actually going to get some gore. We'll get some inventive kills in here. But where are you at with Hard Eyes?
So I was already excited for the movie, but you just brought up two things I didn't know. And that's that it's made by Christopher Landon and it's rated R. So those just kind of add on to the excitement for me. I can't remember the actor's name, but he played Chad in
Mason Gooding
movies. Mason Gooding. Yeah, I love him. I think he's great. The design of the killer is really cool, especially with the light up like heart eyes. I'm like, that's unique, and we don't have enough unique slashers anymore. In the trailer, it just looked like a fun time. So you add those elements onto it. I think that looks like the most exciting movie for February for me. But
do you have anything else in February that's top of mind for you right now?
There's one. How are you feeling about The Monkey?
That was the only other one I wanted to talk about in February.
Okay. Okay, good.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a Stephen King story, right?
Yeah, I believe it's a short story of his.
Okay. So that has me intrigued. Although the Boogeyman was...
It was mid.
Yeah, it was mid. But that's not why I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued because my boy's in it. Rowan Campbell. So I will be there. Did you know that they said the trailer was supposed to come out Tuesday, but because of the LA wildfires, they delayed it because they were like, we don't want to.
Really?
Yeah. I guess there's a scene in the trailer where someone gets caught on fire from what I had read. Also, just want to say, it's anybody out there in Southern California right now, we feel for you. Hope you're safe. Hope that you guys keep your belongings and most importantly, keep your lives. If you have friends or family out there, check on them. It's an awful situation. I have a sister out there. I have a couple friends out there, some that are probably watching this right now that I talked to last night. So just check in with people. I mean, if you've seen the movie, This Is the End, it literally looks like that right now. And it's insane. So yeah, but I am definitely looking forward to it. What about it for you has got you like intrigued?
Yeah, I think those two elements, like, the Boogeyman was mid, but Stephen King, like, I don't care what he makes. I don't care what he's written. Like, any movie that comes out that has Stephen King around it, I'm going to go see. And then Rowan Campbell, he really impressed me with Halloween Ends. I didn't know who he was before that, so now I kind of just want to check out everything he's in. There was, like, it might not have been a full trailer, but I feel like I've seen a teaser of this movie. Have you seen that? There was some sort of like...
There was a little teaser, yes. They did show us. It was, I don't know if it was like 20 or 30 seconds, something like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't impress me. There was nothing in there that like was too exciting. And I still don't really know the plot. A lot of these new movies, I try not to look at plot details because I don't want to get spoiled. But those two things, I think the poster is cool. It looks bloody from that image we saw of Rowan Campbell just like covered in blood. Hopefully it's a good time.
Yeah. And look, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I was going through March and April just now. Nothing popped out to me. I mean, if you want to scroll, the next movie that I'm anticipating isn't until May. And I'm sure there's going to be movies in there that I'll go see, guys. And there's going to be some that sneak up on us. I mean, look at this past year. Who would have at the beginning of the year gone, wow, I can't wait to go see The Substance? Nobody knew what that was. So there's going to be movies like that sneak up on you. But as of right now, March and April look pretty bare. There's some superhero movies in there, some action movies, like And I love me some action. Don't get me wrong, but unless it's, a select few franchises, I'm not finding myself rushing to the theater to see them. I mean, is there anything in those months you see that catching your eye?
That's totally fair. There are two in April that are interesting to me, and one of them is actual interest, and the other is a morbid curiosity. But have you heard anything about Sinners?
I didn't even know what kind of movie it was. Is it a horror movie?
Yeah, it is a horror movie. I believe it's maybe the first or one of the first horror films from Ryan Coogler, who did Black Panther.
Okay,
It
yeah,
has,
yeah.
yeah, it has Michael B. Jordan in it. It seems like some sort of like monster movie, maybe.
I've
seen
seen a trailer. Yeah, I've seen a trailer for that.
Yeah.
That didn't look bad.
No, it looks pretty good. It looks like a period piece too, which those can be interesting for horror. And I love Michael B. Jordan. Ryan Coogler does great work, so I'm gonna go into that blind. I think it looks like potentially pretty great.
Okay. Well, then and you said you had a second one?
I do, and I think that I feel like you're gonna share my morbid curiosity, but we don't have an exact date, but it's rumored that The Strangers Chapter 2 is gonna be an April release.
Oh God. Yeah, I saw that yesterday. Dude, here's the thing, Jaden. Doing what I do, albeit just part-time, it's a little rinky-dink channel, but that being the case, I have to go see it. I also have to go see it to see if they can at least try to redeem themselves a little bit. Let me tell you something. I was really upset when I did that tier list because without chapter 1, The Strangers would have been S tier. Like, I think the first one is a great home invasion, slow burn suspense movie. And I think the second one is everything we loved about 80s slashers. They're two wildly different movies that work. And then chapter 1 was like, what if we were like the dollar store version of the first movie? Just worse in every way, but not like your normal dollar store version where it's just like marginally worse here and there, but it's still passable. No, this was like bargain bin. It was bad, dude. It was bad. I really did not like that movie, but yeah, I'll be seeing chapter 2. Can't wait.
Dude, we're franchise whores, like we have franchises we loved as kids or loved like growing up, and The Strangers is one of those. So no matter what they put out, I think I'm going to go check it out. And the thing that interests me the most is that, like you were talking about, the first one was a remake. This one's wholly original. I don't love the route they're going where we might see these people. I think it kind of defeats the point of The Strangers.
The whole fucking town's going to be in on it. We're going to see the strangers. We're going to know their motivation. And I'm going to be like, okay, so then they're not the strangers anymore. They're just Tom, Dick, and Harry. I mean,
yeah, it sounds like they're kind of turning The Strangers into like a backwoods folk horror movie almost, which is kind of bizarre, but I'll go check it out. I'm going to see it in theaters.
Yeah, so will I. We can share in that misery together. And then, if this is still going on, we can do an episode talking about it. And by talking about it, I mean more than likely ripping it to shreds. Though, I'm going to give him a chance. But here's the thing I worry about with this new trilogy. One, I'm really disappointed so far in Rennie Harlan because he's a filmmaker I like, and I just did not see any craft or passion or care at all. It just felt like a photographed movie. Like there was no Rennie Harlan to that. And if the next two are like that, I just worry that this trilogy, because The Strangers were already niche. Like they weren't Michael Myers. They weren't Freddy. They weren't movies that were going to come out and make $150 million. They're more of they're B tier. But if a B tier slasher gets run into the ground, that B tier slasher is done. You have to build upon it if you want it to live on. Like, look at Chucky, dude. Chucky got relegated to the small screen, and he has not come out of it. And even when they did the remake, it was successful for its $15 million budget, but it only made like $40 million, if that. So, yeah, it made them a little bit of money. But we're talking 40 million. Scream 6 opened to more than that in its opening weekend. Like, And I get it. They're different tiers of slashers, but I'm just saying, like, Chucky, as much as I love the guy, he's a B tier slasher. And the Strangers are maybe even probably a rung below Chucky. So you really can't afford to screw this up so bad, because nobody will ever care again. We'll never see these characters get rebooted, and they'll go to the fucking dustbin of history. And I don't know, maybe that'll be what needs to happen after this godforsaken trilogy wraps up, depending on how it goes. So
yeah, like, before we go to the next one, like with the Strangers, like I believe it was supposed to be streaming exclusive, right? It was a Max thing.
I don't know.
Okay.
There were rumors. There was talk that it was supposed to initially be a streaming thing, and then who knows?
Yeah, and then all three of them being filmed around the same time. You can either have a Fear Street, or you can have like a really ass trilogy of movies, and I'm hoping that these next two are fun.
Well, I was somebody that found Fear Street to be largely overrated. But okay. May. I'm really looking forward to this one, buddy. Can't believe we don't have any photos, not a teaser, not a poster, nothing yet. It's 4 months away, but Final Destination Bloodlines. No, I just got to say right off the bat, this is going to be Tony Todd's last performance. So that's kind of bittersweet, but it'll be really, really cool to see him back as Bloodsworth. I love that character. The actor was just great. Tony was awesome. But look, Final Destination is one of those series for me. I think I put it in B tier, though I did flirt with A tier. But that fourth one, dude, it's asshole. Like, it's brutal. It's really bad. But every other one is a banger. Like, I don't know how they got that movie so wrong. Like, Final Destination 1, 2, and 3, that's a trilogy that's like, just like, it's up there with some of the stronger trilogies. And Final Destination is different. It's just really fun. It's clever. It doesn't make you think too hard. And then 5 was like, oh shit, we're weaving this all together. This is wild. And then you've got 4, like right smack dab in the middle there. It's just like a perfect encapsulation of that movie is the guy getting his intestines sucked out through his butthole in a pool. Because it's just ass, bro. But I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Final Destination writ large, and then Final Destination Bloodlines?
Yeah, I feel like if you're a 90s or 2000s kid, like Final Destination, you grew up with those movies and you were terrified of all irrational things because of them. I'll still never.
It's not irrational. It's not irrational. I'm not driving behind a log truck.
Yeah, that one, yeah, for sure. But like, I can't remember if it is the terrible one, but the escalator kill.
That's 5.
Okay, so after that, I'm like, dude, I don't want to go up any escalator. I would take stairs, even if it's more inconvenient. Tanning beds, like hangers and elevators, like there's so many like things I just got terrified of. So I love those movies. I have a lot of nostalgia, and I never thought it'd come back, and I'm so happy that it is. It's really cool that Tony Todd's back, even if it is his last performance. I'm just glad that we got it. No matter how much screen time he has, like I'm gonna be happy seeing him on a big screen again for the final time. But yeah, I'm so excited.
Now there's one more movie in May, and this is not horror, so we're not going to talk about it, but I'm just going to put it out there. I am eagerly awaiting Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Cannot wait for that movie. But anything else in May that stands out to you? I think that's like the only horror movie, honestly, in May.
I think it is. Yeah, I didn't see anything else.
Oh no, well I guess there was a book series called Clown in a Cornfield, and they're making that into a Shudder movie.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually. I didn't know that was May.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never read the book. I know of the author because he has a YouTube channel and he's done like movie and book reviews and stuff. Adam Cesare, but he seems like a cool dude. I'll go check it out. But one thing that kind of has me cautious, I don't know if you've did you hear of Dark Harvest?
I've heard of it, yes.
That book was super popular. It's like for young adults. Then the movie came out and it was like forgettable trash. I'm hoping it's not the same thing.
Nice. Well, I made an actual thumbnail for this episode. What I posted to my YouTube channel was just like a fun little announcement picture. But the thumbnail that I made, you guys have all seen it by now, has this movie front and center. And I think it's because it's a lot of horror fans' most anticipated horror movie of this year. We get into June and we get to 28 years later. And I'm going to let you take the floor on this one, Jaden, because I'm sure you've heard me talk on my channel before. I don't care for 28 days later. I honestly have no desire to ever watch it again. And I thought 28 weeks later was fine. It was better than days. But this trailer looks good. So where are you at with this?
So I have a little bit better of a history with 28 Days Later. I saw it on TV one day, probably when I was like 10 years old, and I really dug it. Like it almost looks shot on video, which I kind of dig. I never saw Weeks Later, but it looked kind of mid. But 28 Years Later has one of the best trailers I've seen in years. Like, it's so haunting. Like the poem that's being recited behind it, all the imagery. I think it looks fucking awesome. Cillian Murphy, he was confirmed, and now they're saying he's not, but I have a feeling he's going to be in the movie in some form or fashion, and I love him in anything he's in, so definitely one of my most anticipated of the year, especially since I feel like zombie films haven't been hidden lately. I feel like this one might.
Well, the thing with Cillian Murphy apparently is that the belief is that they're either one, lying, or two, he's not going to be in it until the second and third one, because this is a new trilogy. So,
right, I forgot about that.
And Danny Boyle is directing the final installment. And so he's, full circle moment. I'm sure Cillian will be in the final one for sure, especially with Danny Boyle back. The only question is he like an end stinger in this one? And, it's going to be something like that. I'm sure he'll be involved in this new trilogy, but it may not be in this one. But I think it looks good. I actually am probably going to brush up on those two movies again over the next few months before I go see it, because I really want to know what I'm seeing. I want to be fresh. But I got to be honest with you, man. You're right. It's one of the better trailers I've seen for sure.
Yeah.
And then the next movie in June that I don't give two shits about. I know you already know what it is.
Yeah.
And I know you're looking forward to it. So again, I'll let you have the floor with Mathregan 2.0.
Yeah, man. So the original Megan, I think a lot of people, how do I put this? So I didn't love Megan, and I feel like she's kind of like an industry plant horror icon, where like she was pushed so heavily to be like, this is a horror icon, guys. Like, she's the it girl now. You're gonna love her. The actual movie is ass, but herself, I think, has potential. Like, I like Megan. I like this. I think it's a better version of the 2019 Chucky doll.
I will fight you, bro.
Really? All right. Well,
I liked 2019, and shout out my buddy Mark, who I know is listening right now in Saturn Video, who did not watch the remake of Child's Play because he's an OG Chucky guy too, and he finally watched it and said, "You know what? It was solid." I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, it is."
I don't hate that movie. The doll I don't love. But
it's a terrible design. It's horrible.
Yeah. I think Megan's like a good, campy, goofy, and also kind of creepy character. And I think she needs sequels to flesh it out a bit more. Like, there's been some mid movies in the past couple of years that had sequels that were like shockingly good. Like Smile 2 is one that kind of stuck out to me from last year.
That's why I still haven't seen it, because I thought the first one was so mid. I was just like, I'm not compelled to go see this.
No, that's fair. That's kind of why I'm giving this one a shot. If I don't like it, I don't know if I'll see any more Megan movies unless they come to like streaming or whatever. But sequels always interest me. But
I'll hold out hope for you. I will.
Right.
Now, July is stacked with movies. So just passing mentions for non-horror movies. I don't care. I'm excited for Jurassic World Rebirth. I do not give a shit. ScarJo can do no wrong, by the way. So I'm excited to see her in one of these movies. And it's Gareth Edwards. I'm sorry, Gareth Edwards. Hello, Godzilla 2014, Rogue One. Like, yeah, give me a Gareth Edwards Jurassic World movie. And there's also Superman. Look, guys, I miss Henry Cavill too, but I think Corn Sweat's a really good idea. I think he was a great casting. I have hope for it. I'm going to go see it. But one of the most anticipated horror movies of this year, a movie that I don't think any of us ever thought was going to happen. If you would have asked 5 years ago, most people would have been like, what? And then the other people would be like, nah, dude, that was a 90s thing. That ain't coming back. Well, Scream was the same way. Mm-hmm. So this July, we're getting I Know What You Did Last Summer, and we officially finally have the confirmation of J-Lo, Jennifer Love Hewitt. How you feeling about this, man? Freddie Prinze back. She's back. Are you thinking this is going to be like a Scream 5 where it's like they're trying to give us this new cast and then halfway through the OGs come in? Yeah. I mean, what are we thinking here?
So in terms of plot, I'm a little bit nervous Freddie might get killed off because I noticed that he went to film and it wasn't that long of a trip. So I'm like, I pray to God, like, it's just like, if he's in it, it's like a cameo, he'll be in a sequel, whatever. I don't want him getting killed because I love those original characters. But those first two movies, dude, like, such popcorn fun. I have such nostalgia for them. And I love that we're kind of back in the 90s again, like where we have Scream. I Know What You Did Last Summer. We got a scary movie coming out. We just need Urban Legend to come back, and we got the full, like,
bring Danielle back. Get Danielle Harris, and I'm in.
Yes. No, it's this one interests me more than Scream 5 did, to be honest, because I feel like there's such little lore.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. It's got to be a copycat, right? Because the fisherman died.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is a sequel just to the first one. So I still know is no longer canon, right?
That I don't know, actually.
Wait, it can't be. Or wait. It can't be because didn't somebody die? Who did Freddie Prinze live through I Still Know?
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe it could be. Somebody in the comments let us know, but I thought they said they were doing the Scream route where it was just a sequel to the original. But even if that's the case, unless you're getting Supernatural, this has got to be a copycat.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll probably be a younger, like, maybe they'll go the I Still Know route where it's like a son or a grandson or something like that. Maybe they'll try to go the Scream route where it's like one of the people in the group that's the killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it's such an interesting, like, because there is the third one, but like it's not really related to the first two, and it's a piece of shit. So we only have 2 movies to go off of. We didn't have like 4 prior, like we did with Scream 5. So yeah, I'm very excited for it.
I also think that this is going to be a sleeper hit. I think some people are probably sleeping on this one, and they don't realize that this is probably going to be a pretty big box office hit.
Oh yeah.
That 90s, it makes sense. We're in that phase now where, like, a couple years ago, 80s nostalgia, what was really hitting. Stranger Things, think no further than Stranger Things.
Yep.
And now we're getting into the era of 90s nostalgia. And I think that this is going to do really well, especially because all those 90s kids like myself, bro, we're in our 30s now. You know, like we have fond memories of this stuff. And seeing it come back and bringing their original players back too, because I'm going to tell you the truth, Jaden. Had they not gotten Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze, I'm good. I don't care. Yeah, if anything, you could just be making another I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. And no thanks. I don't want to see that shit. So, and again, I'm not saying, I'm just saying Halloween again is at the forefront of starting a trend of requels. Halloween started the requels. Halloween started the era of the big franchise slashers. It came back, and then you had Friday, and then you had Nightmare come back after that. Halloween is always starting it. Started it in 78, and it made Friday. It made Nightmare happen. So, like, Halloween again, cutting edge, bro. I should have put Halloween S tier just to piss off the people that don't like Halloween. Like, I should have.
Dude, Halloween is S tier. Fuck them.
Yeah, I was trying to be objective. I put it A tier because I knew someone would be like, "Oh, well, Resurrection and those zombie films, you got to go by your own criteria."
Yeah,
Okay, well, even my own criteria, yes, I think Resurrection is dog shit. And simply because there is one dog shit movie in that series for me, I can't put it S tier. That was my criteria. I'll
that's
do
fair.
it. So, I don't see shit in August. Do you? I mean, there's Freakier Friday. That's not a horror movie.
So there was one at the tail end of August that. So another thing with this list of movies is like things could get delayed. This is
Yes.
one I haven't heard much about, so I feel like it could be one. But as of right now, slated for August 29th is Insidious: The Bleeding World. I think it's. I don't know if it's following the story or if it's a spinoff, but we are
It's
supposed to get an Insidious movie.
yeah, it's
This
a spinoff. But here's the thing: I don't even know if it is filmed yet.
right. That's why I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna make that date. It'll probably be a 2026 thing. But
Yeah,
based
I
off
don't
of
know,
right
man.
now,
After the Red Door, I could take a
so
break from Insidious.
you and I have differing opinions on that movie because I like the Red Door. I fucked with it heavily, and I didn't like 3.
You
And
had the nostalgia. You were just happy to see the family back. That's what it was. And you were happy to see Darth Maul's cousin. That, like, let's be honest, that's what it was. That's what got my ass in the theater, but I just felt like they under-delivered on it. Rose Byrne gets 2 scenes. Why are they divorced? What the
that
fuck?
sucked. Yeah,
You got Ty Simpkins is a little asshole to his dad. The whole movie, this motherfucker like saved you, bro. Like,
yeah.
whatever. And then just totally under-delivered on Darth Maul's cousin. I don't know. That's my,
No, that's fair. I think as a horror movie, it kind of fails, but I like the familial drama, which like I don't know why that interested me so much, and I like the art school route. Um, Also, like not related to this movie at all. That has maybe one of the best original, like I guess it's not original because it's a remake of a song, but that song that they did with Ghost,
Stay. Oh, dude.
Stay is so fucking good. Oh
It's funny. I'll just show you really quick just to prove it in some of my most recent listen to songs. It's one of my most recent listens. I listen to
yeah,
that song almost daily.
it's so
It's really good. Yeah, okay. I agree with you largely. I agree with you. It does the drama well. It definitely does. I guess I just still took issue with the fact that for whatever reason, they're divorced. It just pissed me off, man. Like it's not how I wanted to see it come back. It did the drama well, but it's an Insidious movie. I was like, no thanks. But I digress. Okay. September.
yeah.
My most anticipated horror movie of this year, without question, is The Conjuring Last Rites. Without question. And if anybody knows me, they'd go, well, why would you say that? Didn't you think that the third one was mid? I did. I absolutely did. But one, knowing how good those first 2 movies are, in my opinion, everyone's allowed one misfire. Even their misfire was still solid. It paled in comparison to the first 2. And it's the last one. It's the last mainline Conjuring movie with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. And I really like the case that this one is focused on, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the Smurl family haunting in Pennsylvania. So I got to tell you, man, I'm hoping, and if I'm looking here, it's Michael Chavez again directing. So, dear God, he couldn't craft a scare to save his life in the third one. But I'm optimistic. That's my most anticipated. What are your thoughts on that?
Interesting, yeah. So I'm not like a big Conjuring universe fan, to be honest. So it's one that I need to touch up on all the movies. Maybe not the spin-off MCU-esque universe they're doing.
Don't watch
Okay,
Annabelle. Don't watch the first Annabelle.
Watch 1 through 3 again, leading up to this one. It's just not one I really know enough about, to be honest with you. It's never been my favorite franchise. I do love the first movie, but
dude, that first movie, be honest with me here. Be honest with me. I saw that movie in theaters at 18 years old opening night with my ex-girlfriend, my best friend and his ex-girlfriend, because they were best friends and we were best friends, so it was just kind of perfect. And sitting in that movie theater, I looked over to Dave multiple times. I was like, dude, this literally might be the scariest movie I've ever seen. Like, it just,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because it was in theaters, so it was super loud. And that movie's a loud fucking movie. But like,
Mhm.
dude, James Wan can craft a scare. Like, no, I love Flanagan, but I think James Wan does scares better. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
there's a scene in The Conjuring where the mom is just walking around downstairs and she turns around and the camera just pans up to the stairs and there's a girl just standing there. It's just one of her kids, but it's fucking scary. You're like, holy
Yeah.
shit, but it's just a kid. And then you've got when all the pictures fall off the wall and it's super loud. You got
Mhm.
Bathsheba up on the fucking armoire out of nowhere, just like licking, like,
Dude,
dude,
that scared the shit out of me.
he can craft scares. And also it's innate in me growing up religious that like believing in evil in this world, like you just
Mhm.
no matter what you want to ascribe that evil to, like, oh, demons, whatever it is, I believe in evil, and like
Yeah.
seeing that manifested effectively on screen is it's nightmare fuel to me. And like when she's under the sheet and like transforming and making all these like guttural noises, the face rips out of the sheet, I'm like, no, dude, no. It's that movie scared the shit out of me. But yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'll definitely go see it. I just don't know enough. So kind of a 50-50 for me.
All right. Well, I want to hear your thoughts on Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, which I'm
Oh,
assuming is about the Bride of Frankenstein, correct?
yes, it is. I'm glad you brought that one up because I wasn't sure if you would, but um, any like modern Frankenstein adaptation I'm interested in. I know we're also getting Guillermo del Toro's, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when that's coming out, but those two together, I just think it's going to be really interesting. I hope they don't go too artsy fartsy with it and it's not super surreal and weird because I don't like those kinds of movies. Um, but like I guess a more artistic take of a Frankenstein film could be cool, especially when focused on the bride because I don't know, like I think people think the bride is more important than she actually is on screen. Like if you've seen the original Bride of Frankenstein, she's there for like a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing more of her is going to be kind of interesting. Um, yeah. Do you have any interest in this? Is this one you're looking forward to?
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm definitely going to go see it. Look, I like Maggie Gyllenhaal as an actress. I think she looks really weird. I've always thought that. Like she
She
just
does.
has this weird look. Um, but I like her as an actress. I think seeing her go, about directing with this kind of movie, I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I know Jake Gyllenhaal's in it as well. I'm sure it'll get a nice
Mhm.
marketing campaign behind it too. I'm sure some money got put into this movie. So, and as I told you earlier, I said, Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is one of my favorite novels.
Me too.
And I was forced to read that in ninth grade as part of the curriculum in British literature. And I just remember always hating when we would get assigned these books. And I would always use like Spark Notes and stuff. I'm like, I'm not reading this shit.
Yeah.
But I gave it a try, and the book just captivated me, dude. I loved it so much, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I'll be there for sure. And then there's another one in September that is not. I'm just gonna tell y'all guys, it's not going to happen, and that's Saw 11. Um, it They haven't even started pre-production on it. It's not happening this year, and
Uh,
hopefully we get it next year. Hopefully. But I did not like the most recent interview last week that Kevin Grutert gave, the director, when he was
mhm.
asked about Saw 11. His only quote was, "It's too early to speculate on the future of Saw." And I'm like,
Ooh,
sick. So,
yeah.
yeah, Tobin Bell's only in his 80s. It's cool. Take your time, Mark Berg and Orrin Coles. Fight over money. Yeah, let's do that.
No,
That's awesome. So that's a huge bummer because Saw X is my second favorite Saw movie, and I'll
dude.
die on that hill.
Yeah, man. I love the Saw movies. Like I grew up with these. They're so much fun. And the last one, like I didn't love it, but I did like it. And I think like I was just glad to see Tobin Bell back, and he was amazing in it. That might be his best performance he's had in the franchise. So I did want to see more of that. And I am scared. A lot of these horror legends are passing away. He's up there. Like I really hope that they can get their shit together and just get this movie made. Honestly, even if it's like not that great, as long as like he can be in another Saw movie, that'll add something for me.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing I take solace in is like, if not, I think Saw X was a really good send off for him, just in the sense of like it
Yeah.
was his best performance. I think he got the most to do in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's not a good send off because the bitch lived and
Yeah.
she better die in the next movie. Jigsaw, they owe us that.
For sure.
And no matter what anybody says about Saw X, Christian and I went rounds on this too because he was disappointed with it. And I'm like, bro, we were dealing with the just absolute slop of Spiral and Jigsaw. And although I have fun with the final chapter, it's not a great movie. Like, so it was the best Saw movie we had gotten in a decade. Like, we should have been happy about that. Like, we should have been like, wow, Saw is returning to form. Yeah, we need another one. And I swear to God, if it doesn't happen, I don't even know, man.
I think they could continue it without Tobin. Worst comes to worst. I don't want it, but if they place it after Saw 3 and it's more about Hoffman going after, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
But that's such a like plan B. Like I really hope we get Tobin.
Well, they've all talked about, I mean, Kevin Grutert, the producers, they've all talked about over the years that we haven't seen the end of Hoffman's story. Like, they've always hinted that we will eventually pick up after the final chapter. Like, and I think that they've always planted those seeds because they know that Tobin won't be around forever. And when he does sadly pass and they want to continue Saul, that's when they'll go, all right, now let's follow up the final chapter and see where Hoffman is now. And I love Hoffman. So I'm totally cool with that. I love Hoffman. But if you're going to do that, you also got to bring back Cary Elwes because he was there at the end of the final chapter. And he's apparently, he would be the guy ruling the roost now. So you'd have to bring Cary Elwes back. But yeah, so all right, September, yeah, it was pretty light. But then the first one in October, I want to get your thoughts on this. The Black Phone 2. Where were you at with the first one?
I love the first one. Dude, that movie, Ethan Hawke really impressed me with his performance in that. And that movie in general, I was just like, I was so into. And I feel like I remember you saying this. I don't know how they're going to do a sequel, but that's interesting and kind of exciting at the same time.
I think you've got to go supernatural, right? I mean, he's dead.
Yeah.
He is dead.
Yeah.
Unless you pull a, big 3 franchise move where we don't even really just explain it. It's just like accepted that he somehow lived. But the Black Phone just felt, ironically, because of the ghosts, but it did feel very grounded and very like gritty and realistic aside from the ghost kids. So I don't know how you could then just tonally with the second one go, no, we're going all fantastical. Like, I just don't know if that would work.
Yeah. I think maybe the more boring route that they could go. So I should ask this first. Do we know if the kids from the original movie are in this?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so that kind of deflates what I was going to say. I was going to say they could do a prequel. But if they're going to do a full-on sequel, I feel like they kind of have to go the ghost route or like a Freddy or Michael just coming back out of nowhere. There could be a copycat, but that sounds kind of lamer. I'd kind of rather them get weird. I don't know. I feel like when these horror movies throw shit at the wall and get weird, they can be really entertaining. So
Ghost Ethan Hawke, bro.
Dude, he'll kill it.
I'm looking forward to it. And then look, there's 2 more movies coming out this year that are like horror adjacent that I want to talk about. Actually, there's 3. Is there anything else that you see in October, or are you where I'm at the beginning of November?
I think I'm where you're at.
Okay, so the beginning of November, I am looking specifically at Badlands, Predator Badlands. And I said horror adjacent because I know people are going to go, well, Predator's not really exactly horror. No, it's horror adjacent. Okay.
Predator's horror.
And You know, I liked Prey a lot. I really
Yeah,
did like Prey a lot. I hated The Predator, Shane Black's The Predator. I thought that movie was dog shit.
fucking
Um,
awful. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm looking forward to this. Where are you at with Badlands?
Yeah, I'm excited. Prey really got me back on board with Predator. Like it's a weird series. It's not really the gaps in between them are kind of strange. I love the original two. I love Predators. I feel like more than most people do. The Predator is ass. Prey really impressed me. That might be my favorite one actually. So, do we know like the plot details of this, or
Let me look. We have a basic. It's in the future, a predator traverses on an alien wasteland while two sisters discover their horrifying past. So it's not a straight up sequel to Prey. It's just like in universe, here's another story in the Predator universe, basically.
okay? I kind of wish they were going like in a similar route as Prey. Not even a sequel necessarily, but like if the Predator visited different periods of history. I think that's such an interesting, like almost like Assassin's Creed, but with the Predator. Like I kind of like that idea, and I wish they do that. But I'm gonna be there in theaters when it comes out. I hope it's in theaters. I hope it's not a fucking
It
Hulu movie.
is.
That was
It is.
okay. Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah, they realized they dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, they lost millions on that.
Yeah. Now there's two more. One of them I'll just mention in passing quickly. Anaconda. I like the Anaconda from the 90s. But they're billing this one more as like a comedy. Like Jack Black's in it. And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
really know if this is actually going to be horror adjacent, but I'll probably go see it. And then
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I didn't see Five Nights at Freddy's. I never played those games. I have no love for it, but I know that people are hyped for that movie. Where are you at with that?
So I'll touch on Anaconda real quick. It does seem like they're going the family comedy route, which I don't care for. Although I do love Jack Black and Paul Rudd, and it is kind of interesting that they're going this route in a horror franchise, and that Anaconda is even coming back because all the sequels are like direct to sci-fi, whatever garbage.
Yeah. Oh, there was the one that went to theaters, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like
that one's decent.
it's not a major franchise, so I'm kind of just intrigued that it's even coming back. Um, as for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I saw the first one. It's very whatever. The two saving graces for me are the animatronics and Matthew Lillard. So I'm not a big fan of those games, or I don't really know the lore, so I kind of just went into it for the movie. And it's kind of this weird domestic drama in a lot of it, and it's like it's kind of slow paced for what I expected to be a little bit more bloody and gruesome and fast paced. Um, I'm morbidly curious. I don't think it's going to be good. I don't know if any of these movies are going to be that good, but I love Matthew Lillard. He was great in that role, and the animatronics are cool. So if they can come up with cool kills, like whatever, that'll be fun for me.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that movie really did kind of blow up, though. Like, it
It
really
did.
did. Like, people wanted to see that. And I mean, more power to them. I know that it's got a huge fan base. Again, I'm
Mhm.
sure if you played the games, you were probably out of your friggin' mind when they announced that was
Yeah.
finally becoming a movie. But yeah, I never saw it. I also heard from people like Christian, if you want to see it, just watch Willy's Wonderland with Nick Cage. It's just a better R-rated version of it.
Hmm.
So whatever. I'm not going to poo-poo it. It's going to make a shitload of money,
Yeah.
and it's going to make the fans happy, mostly, I'm sure. So, like, good. Hey, everybody wins, I guess. But aside from that, horror-wise, I'm looking right now. I don't see anything else that's jumping out at me, man. I really don't.
So there's one that we forgot to mention. That's it's our background right now.
Oh yeah, Wicked for Good. No. Holy shit. How did I forget this? I put it. Oh yeah, it's because it's not listed on Wikipedia for whatever reason.
Hmm.
Dude, Thanksgiving 2.
Hell yeah.
This is the perfect one to end the show on. It's the background. I almost forgot.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving 2 is going to rip shit, dude. It's going to rip shit because the first one ripped shit. And everybody can say whatever they want about Eli Roth as a filmmaker. One thing you can't take away from the guy, he does the kind of like trashy slasher horror movie really well. That is his wheelhouse. When
Definitely.
he tries to do, I don't know, like Borderlands, I didn't see it. I heard it was ass.
It is ass.
But this is his wheelhouse. This like dark comedy slasher. Like this is just what he's good at. I watched Thanksgiving again on Thanksgiving. I saw it twice in theaters when it was in theaters the year before. It just hits, man. Is it part of it that we don't have enough Thanksgiving horror movies? So like I latched onto it? Sure. But it's also just really good. So I'm stoked.
It is. Yeah, dude, that first Thanksgiving was such a surprise for me. I didn't think it was going to be bad, but that kicked my ass. And this is kind of a fun little like side thing, but I went to see Thanksgiving at a theater in Hanover, Massachusetts, because that's near where I live. And then during the parking lot scene, the Plymouth kids are like, "Fuck you, Hanover kids," and that got a huge crowd pop from everybody because we're in Hanover. But nah, man, I'm looking forward to this so much. Like, I'm excited to see Patrick Dempsey as like this burned, even more goofy version of himself. Like,
yes.
I would like if he just gets progressively more messed up and they keep doing sequels and he just looks like a glob monster. But
yeah,
it's gonna be fun, dude.
Yeah, and the thing too is that a lot of people don't. It hasn't been officially announced yet, and I mean I can't say with certainty, but I've got it on good authority that he's probably back for Scream 7 as well. I don't know why they haven't officially announced it. I mean, it makes complete sense. It's Spyglass. He literally was in Thanksgiving for Spyglass and is going to be in Thanksgiving 2 for Spyglass. So yeah, I'm sure he's going to be in it. I like this phase of Dempsey's career. I do. I want to see him go into horror, because now he's like a silver fox. So it's like, I don't know, just do that, man. Like your Grey's Anatomy days are over. Like, give us shit that we can eat up. He was great in Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm really, really excited for this one. I just genuinely, I just thank Eli Roth, man, because if for nothing else, we're gonna have 2 Thanksgiving horror movies with this one and the previous one. And like that means a lot to me because it gives me another movie to watch in November, which is usually a pretty slow month when you're in the in-between. And also it introduced me to Addison Rae. I'm not like a TikTok or anything like that. I know that she was super popular on social media. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, she's hot. And then like I actually dug her music. I was like, I kind of dig this. Like this, it's pop music, but whatever. I kind of dig it.
Oh yeah.
And then I posted a picture, I can't remember what it was, of Thanksgiving and the opening weekend. And I like mentioned her in my story and she liked my Instagram story. And I was like, I can't believe she even saw this because she has like 30 million followers or whatever, but that's awesome. So yeah, and she's coming back, so I'm excited for that. I got to be honest with you, I didn't mind the final girl in it, but I wished it was her. I wished it was Addison Rae. I don't know. She had more spunk to me. Like I don't know. She just seemed more lively. But I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. There are 2 things I want to mention real quick. 2 films, both Christmas horror films that are supposed to be coming out.
Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch for sure. That's one.
That actually might be horrifying though. It's a Disney live action remake. It could be horrifying.
Oh yeah, those dwarves for Snow White are horror creatures. No, there's Return of the Living Dead.
Yes.
And Silent Night, Deadly Night, which both are made by very low budget teams. Which kind of scares me, although I think Silent Night, Deadly Night can live in that world a little bit more.
Yeah, but don't you want to see a big budget reboot of Silent Night, Deadly Night, like going to theaters? Like give it like $25 million, put that bitch in the theaters.
I would, but I've also heard some people who worked on Terrifier are going to be working on it. So that's potentially pretty cool. Return to Living Dead is made by a guy who made one of the worst horror movies of the past, like however many years, with Killer Goats. That movie's a piece of shit. So him taking one of my favorite horror films of all time, one of the 80s greats, and doing a sequel, yeah, I'm kind of terrified.
I know Christian's not exactly stoked either.
No.
And, I get it. I get it. Look, I saw that little teaser they did around Christmas time to market the fact that it's going to be a Christmas movie. And anytime I see a teaser like that, where it shows no footage from the film and it's clearly just something promotional, my immediate thought goes to is, oh, you got no confidence in showing any of that footage. Like you got no confidence because that motherfucker's already shot. And you got no confidence in that thing. You didn't want to show us any of it. We'll see if either get a release this year. I can tell you Silent Night, Deadly Night, I will watch. I mean, I even watched that. I'm sorry. I got some comments on this one, man, about the reboot from 2011 where people were like, oh, dude, you're way off base. Like, it's actually a good time. Dude, that movie sucks. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's bad.
It's
the only
terrible.
even Malcolm McDowell just didn't feel like he fit. Like, he felt like he was overacting in it. And then the only scene that I genuinely can say I liked was the wood chipper scene.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
That was rad. And the chick was hot. And, she's running around like that for like fucking 5 minutes. I'm like, all right. But I thought the movie was just largely ass, dude. Like it's so forgettable. And I had seen it before. I remembered I had said in the review I did for it, I was like, I couldn't remember if I'd seen it. And then as I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why I haven't seen this in 10 years. Cause it sucks. Like, yeah.
That's why this one has a little bit more potential. Cause it is supposed to be a remake where that one kind of just used the name. It has no connected tissue to that series at all. Yeah. This being a remake with people who know how to do gore, I have more faith in that.
Yeah, and just based off of that reboot, I'll just say one thing. Not like any of them are going to watch this, but it's fine. For the love of Jesus Christ, no CGI snow. It looks like shit.
Yeah.
CGI snow is terrible. Yep. It cannot be more expensive to have fake snow. Like, It can't be. Stop the CGI snow. We can all tell. We can all tell it's bullshit. It doesn't blend into the foreground or the background. It just sticks out like a sore thumb. And again, I swear to God, that one didn't even look like it was filmed in the wintertime. Like it looked like it was filmed in like spring. And I'm like,
yeah, it did.
It's just, I'm not about it, man. I'm not about it. If you're going to give me a Christmas horror movie, you go the route of Black Christmas 2006 in the sense of you drench that motherfucker in atmosphere. I mean, I need the music. I need the snowstorms, the lights. I need all of it. Give me all of it. It needs to feel like of that time and place. If it doesn't, I have no interest.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, shit, man. We just went through, guys, we said this was going to be like our most anticipated. And I mean, it is, but we pretty much previewed every horror movie aside from that like Steamboat movie that has David Howard Thornton in it, but it looks like it's going to be shit. But shout out David, still hope to get him on Unita one day. But I mean, and look, guys, we wanted to keep this horror related, but also this podcast is going to be a little bit different than Unita in the sense of like, yes, Christian and I are already less structured, let's be honest, but we always have like an overarching topic where it's like, we'll start the episode off with like our pleasantries and random bullshit. We'll end the episode off with like random 2 a.m. depressing thoughts. But in the middle there is where we're talking about like one specific thing. This isn't really going to be like that. I want this show to be more just like free flowing, more, way less structure, more fun. And it's, I just mean in the sense of like, I've already got the horror podcast where we're covering like the big stories, the big movies, and we're still going to talk about those things here, but you're just going to get a less professional side of me, I guess I should say here. And as Jaden warms up, and he will, trust me, by our DM conversations, I can tell you this is not a serious human being. So you'll get it both ways here. But I definitely want to hear your guys' feedback. I want to hear your feedback down below in the comment section. I want to know what you guys thought of this first episode. Did you vibe with it? Did you like what we talked about? Do you have suggestions for the future? Also, check Jaden out on Instagram. I'm pretty sure your Instagram is just your name, right? Jaden Hardiman?
Yeah, I think it's at Jaden H617.
Okay. At Jaden Hardman 617. But no, check him out. I believe he's going to start a YouTube channel sooner rather than later, and then you'll be able to subscribe to that. But Jaden, what'd you think, man? How did it go for you?
Dude, I had a good time. We did cover a lot more than I thought we were gonna, which I think is cool. We pretty much covered the whole year. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm looking forward to this project. I hope me and Nick can continue for a while. Like getting to talk about horror with people is always fun, especially when they're as chill as you. There's a lot of annoying trolls out there when it comes to the horror genre. You and Christian are cool dudes. It was great hopping on here, and yeah, I hope that you guys can see how weird I am and how weird me and Nick are together as this continues, as I get a little bit more confident.
They will. But I'll just say this. It is funny that we did cover as much as we did because I talk a lot, and I also just want to apologize. I know there were multiple points where I interrupted you because my brain works like 500 miles a minute, and as soon as I have a thought, I want to talk. And so yeah, Christian has laughed at me many times before about how I'll ramble on stuff. So I'm aware of that. But yeah, guys, look, this was fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But look, if you're not liking this video, if you're not sharing it, if you're not joining in the conversation, you're not helping the algorithm. You're not helping out your boy. You're not helping out the show. You're not helping out anything. You're just being a damn leech sitting around doing fuck all when you should be supporting. I'm kidding, but I'm not. So leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel, share this with your buddy, your dog, your cat, your grandma's ashes, whoever you want to share it with, share it. I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week doing this. It'll be fun. Like I said, you're going to see as time goes on, this is going to be far less structured. There's going to be a lot of fuck around, and I look forward to it. So Jaden,
me too.
Welcome to the YouTube community. Welcome to the podcast community.
Thank you.
Also, guys, I'm going to look into getting this on podcast platforms. Don't worry, audio version. For anybody that ever gives me shit and comments, and believe me, I see it all the time. It's like, hey, where's the newest Unita? It's not on Spotify. It's not on Apple. Go to Christian. Okay. I have talked to Christian before and said, hey, man, if you just want to give me the login, I can upload this for you to save you some time. He's like, no, it's not that. I use this particular condensing. So I don't know what he said it was. So he still does it. So don't get on me about it. All right. But this, I'm going to look into adding on to all that. I want to get a logo made. And we will have an intro song for the next episode, I promise. So if you go back to the original You Need a Horror podcast episode, I wasn't using a mic. I was using my cell phone. There was no structure. It was kind of awkward, but we just kind of ran with it and we had fun. And now you see where Christian and I are 3+ years later, where it's just it's like being in the room with your drunk uncle. Well, that could go really bad. So, but anyway, guys, thank you again, Jaden. Thank you again. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. Take her easy, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.
See you guys.